Hey, everybody. Back with another devotional reflection today. Been thinking lately about Jesus's words in Matthew, kind of one of its more well quoted statements that about the narrow gate, the narrow way that leads to life. And, we read in Matthew 7:13 to 14. Enter through the narrow gate, because the gate is wide and the way is spacious that leads to destruction. There are many who enter through it, and there are many who enter through it. How narrow is the gate and difficult the way that leads to life, and there are few who find it. And this is part of Jesus' Sermon on the Mount. And a lot of times, I think when we've interpreted that, I know growing up, I've often thought of it this way. We kind of always often interpret it as this restrictive list of behaviors or dogma that we need to follow or do in order to basically get to heaven. And um, but it seems that what Jesus is talking about here goes a little deeper than that. And it's different than that because in his book, Dallas Willard, The Divine Conspiracy, he talks about what he calls the gospel of sin management. And it's whether it's on the right or the left, it's the social gospel or it's personal piety. It's like this list of behaviors that we try to manage in people to say, do this, do this, do this, and you're going good. You're doing well. But it seems when you look at the broader context of what Jesus is saying in the Sermon on the Mount and the type of life he is calling people to the Sermon on the Mount, it seems that this statement here is summing up the whole, making that transition of summing up what he's been saying up to that point, which he was calling his hearers to more of a life of grace and trust in the Holy Spirit to guide them in making and letting go of those self-destructive behaviors and self-destructive values. Instead of saying, hey, here's the rules you got to follow, he's saying, I want you to go deeper. I want you to go to the heart level and let go of those things that are bringing you down. And this is a life that is guided by the Holy Spirit, and it's guided by grace. And it's not a list of dogmas and rules by which we judge one another. It's interesting that as Jesus is making this statement, it's coming right on the heels of where he told people, don't judge. Don't judge lest you be judged. You'll be judged by the same way that you judge others. And he's also saying that if you want a life of life, or to live a life-giving life, focus on the things inside of you that are those attitudes and those heart level attitudes that are keeping you from living a good life among the people that you are around. And so this seems to be, as he's talking about this narrow way, this seems to be more of what he's going after, is that the narrow way is this life of grace, that it's not easy because most people are looking for rules. The easier way to go is to just say, hey, I got a list of rules I'm going to follow, and if I check off those rules, I'm good. And when we don't live that way, and when we seek to have grace towards people that don't fit other people's rules, it puts us in this place of being looked down upon or being challenged because, oh, we're not supporting the truth, we're supporting uh license. But really what God has called us to do is to trust the Holy Spirit and learn to give grace to people, and be life affirming. And I think as we do that, we develop a more life-giving and life affirming way of living. And it frees us from destructive patterns where we start to destroy the community around us by always looking at focusing on judging others and things like that. So the encouragement I would give you is, when you think of following the narrow way of Jesus, seek to be somebody who's guided by the Holy Spirit and trust that the voice of the Spirit in you to guide you in how to navigate different circumstances. So everybody have a good week, good few days, whatever, until the next time. But God bless.